Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Oliver Schmitz. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I dressed myself today. Oh, you guys are fun. I have been wanting, and thank you for coming here, because I've been wanting to do a big show like this in Cedar Falls. I've been living in Cedar Falls for 10 years. I started doing comedy 6 years ago, and it's been a long time coming. I still live in Cedar Falls in a nice enough neighborhood, not too expensive, but it's nice enough that when the weather gets better, you have those people that go door to door, you know, spreading the good news. You know those people? Pretend you're not home. But I answered, and she told me about the evils of masturbation. She told me it's wrong and disgusting, and to next time, close my blinds. I'm also a little bit famous, not just for what was mentioned before, the stand-up comedy. I've also been arrested. The police called it indecent exposure, which hurt my feelings. I thought it looked pretty good. I used to be a stage magician. In case you guys were wondering, hey Oliver, have you ever been even less fuckable? The answer is yes. I used to be a stage magician. And this is 100% true. I would go to college parties that I was not invited to. My roommates would throw the parties, and I'd just come out to the living room and try to entertain the guests. But the only magic trick I'd ever pull off is I'd make all of the vagina disappear. I started taking dance lessons about 5 years ago, which shouldn't surprise anyone. This is clearly the body of a dancer. I'm like the opposite of that Elton John song. I'm the not so tiny dancer. But I like taking dance lessons. I like learning, because women, back me up with a round of applause. You like a guy who can dance, right? That's a good thing if a guy can dance. And guys, I think I figured out why that is, because guys, we just see a guy who can dance. They see a guy who can follow directions well enough to learn how to dance. And I had a lady come up to me after a show once, and she said, Oliver, it's amazing. You do magic, you do comedy, you dance, you act. You're a double threat, maybe even a triple threat. And I said, thank you, because usually women just see me as a regular threat. And I've acted too. I have an IMDb. I've been in a couple movies on Amazon Prime. 0 good ones, don't watch. But I've been in a few movies, and I got my first stalker from being in these movies. Which I don't know how to deal with a stalker, because I'm not used to attracting women in any capacity, let alone having a stalker. So I asked my friends, and they said, just ghost her. Just ghost her. So now when she messages me, I just reply back with, ooh. But now she just thinks that I'm really interested in what she has to say. So I'm on the dating apps now. Anybody else here on the Tinder? Just me? Okay, fuck you guys. 300 plus people, almost 400. I'm the only single one. I got it. And here's the thing. On Tinder, when I'm on Tinder, almost all of my matches, the only ones that I usually match with, are single moms. And I love single moms. Single moms are great, but I'm just not on Tinder to find single moms. I'm on Tinder to create single moms. I've been told that's my meanest joke. A lady on the dating app, she told me that she wanted to have sex real bad. And I said, good, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Another gal told me she wanted to have sex, no strings attached. And I said, that kind of ruins my puppet fantasy, but... what else? I'm a fan of pro wrestling. And I think because I said that out loud, I shouldn't be allowed to vote. Because I love pro wrestling, but as pro wrestling fans, like that, you'll seriously hear somebody say something like, man, I can't wait to see Stone Cold go at it with Kane at the SummerSlam, because Stone Cold hit Kane's girlfriend over the head with a steel chair, and now he's got to get back at him, he's got to put the title on the line, they're going to be in a steel cage, it's going to be crazy, and also the Undertaker's going to be a special guest referee, and, oh, who's the Undertaker, you ask? Well, he's just a 7-foot-tall warlock with lightning and necromancy powers, who, you know, also likes to wrestle. Anyway, he's going to be in the middle as a special guest referee, and you don't know which way he's going to lean because he used to tag team with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's also Kane's long-lost brother. Anyway, here's what I think of immigration and tax reform. Just pick a lane, I guess. I don't know. I've been happy lately, which has been kind of crazy. Comedy's been going awesome, and I have a job that I very much so like now. And people always ask me at work. They'll ask me things like, "Have I ever made it into one of your jokes? Have you ever put me in any of your skits?" And I'm like, "No." I've got amazing jokes. And I haven't needed your help to get here. And they're just like, "Oh, I don't want to go to your show. You'll just joke about meh the whole time." I'm just like, "Do you say that to your friends who are in bands?" They're like, "Oh, I don't want to go to your concert. You'll just sing about meh the whole time." And I've only had one coworker ever that I felt the need to talk about because I used to be a welder. I used to be a blue-collar worker. Now I have a sit-down job. It's awesome. But now I used to be a welder, and at my first welding job, I showed up the first day of the job. I stuck out my hand. I said, "My name is Oliver. I'm very happy to be here. I'm looking forward to being a great employee and working hard." My trainer reached out his hand to shake mine, and he said, "They call me Gummy Bear." I'm going to repeat myself, because some of y'all are acting like that's some normal shit. He said, "They call me Gummy Bear." And they called him Gummy Bear at that job. Ask me why, Cedar Falls. Because he had no fucking teeth. All gums. All gums. But that did not stop him every single day. The best thing that I've ever seen in my life. Because I was tied at the hip with this man for nearly 2 months at that job. The best thing I've ever seen in my life is when we'd have lunch together, and even though he had no teeth, he insisted every day for lunch on warming up a frozen burrito. These people laughing are picturing a toothless man gumming down a burrito. I have done a lot of cool things in my life. I have many loved ones, but in my final moments when I die, I will not be seeing any of that. I'll be watching Gummy Bear having his lunch. And about 6 weeks into it, him and I had built a bond, a little bit of a trust, burning the midnight oil, second shift, 10-hour shifts of welding. And after just kind of a moment of vulnerability, he said to me, I used to be addicted to meth. And I said, "No fucking shit." It wasn't really the Shyamalan twist I think he thought it was going to be. And I didn't like the way he said it. He didn't say, "I used to do meth." He said he used to be addicted, implying he's just got it under control now. Monday through Friday is boss man, but, weekends is Gummy Bear's time. And here's the thing, and this should frighten every one of you. This joke does not have an ending. He is just still out there. And I hate that I have to call him Gummy Bear, but I don't know his real name. Or if he has one. He might not have a social security number. He might just be out there, and you'll just hear people talk about him like a Yeti or a Chupacabra. Where they'll just be like, on a cold winter night, if you listen closely around the fire, you can hear him off in the distance, the copper piping out of the walls. But yeah, things have been awesome for me lately. I've been happy, which has just been a little bit of a wrench in things, because usually comedy happens with weird stuff, or it happens when you're going through adversity. So now I recently had a little bit of a conundrum where I was sitting in my apartment thinking, do I have the ability to continue doing comedy? Because, you know, maybe I'm too happy, and that sucks. And while I was sitting there thinking about the sustainability of my chosen career, my passion, thinking that I could no longer do this, my roommate burst forth from his bedroom and yelled, "Hey man, you want to go pick up this dollhouse I found for free on Craigslist?" That's when I realized that my life doesn't have to be fucked up. I just have to like account and record what happens, and we still have not picked up that dollhouse yet. It keeps on following through, but I tell you what, in a couple weeks, I will either have a bomb story about picking up that dollhouse, or I'll be dead. It's one of the two. Who knows? Maybe that's when I get back in touch with Gummy Bear. I don't need to know what he's doing with that dollhouse or where he got it from. Oh, gosh. You know, the pandemic's in the rear window. You guys all happy that that's all kind of over with? Yeah. The pandemic was hard. It was a weird time. It was a learning experience. Like, I got to feel what it was like to not wear pants for 3 weeks. It was crazy. I got the best burn of my life, though, during the pandemic. Because I tried out a mustache for a little while. I tried out a mustache, and I got told that I looked like Freddie Mercury if instead of AIDS, he got diabetes. But I got the last laugh, though. I didn't buy none of her Girl Scout cookies, so. Back earlier in my career, I was known as the food joke guy. You could probably say that food jokes are my bread and butter. I invited all 400 of you to hear that one joke. Now, my favorite food of all time has got to be SpaghettiOs. Any SpaghettiOs fans in here? Because SpaghettiOs, when I was younger, the jingle used to be, "It's the spaghetti you can eat with a spoon." And I always thought that was hilarious because I always wondered, who was that for? Because I've never been like, man, I could go for some spaghetti, but I don't trust that fucking fork. SpaghettiOs jingle isn't any better. You guys familiar with the uh-oh SpaghettiOs? How is that moving the product? Seriously, that doesn't sound appetizing. That just sounds like the kid came home from school. Is like, oh, I wonder what mom made for dinner. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I feel like that just barely beat out, oh shit, SpaghettiOs. And god damn it, SpaghettiOs. My favorite food jingle of all time while we're on that topic is the Taco John's jingle. Y'all have heard this jingle? There's a whole lot of Mexican going on at Taco John's. And I don't just love it because it's catchy, I also love it for the playful racism. Because you can't just speak those lyrics. You can't just burst into a room like a wedding or especially a quinceañera and be like, there's a whole lot of Mexican going on. But I love the Taco John's here in Cedar Falls so much. I go on a regular basis to where if I ever went missing, you know, if I ever got caught between a rock and a cliff, you know all the rock climbing that I do? If I ever went missing, the Taco John's here in town would be the first people to notice and the search party out. They'd be like, he hasn't had a six-pack in a pound all weekend. Something's happened. And then indulge me because they would send in their own rescue team where they'd go to a control room and they'd activate the microchips they put in the food, because they do that. And they'd look at a radar screen and they'd be like, there's a whole lot of Mexican going on in the Rockies. And then they would airdrop in who else but Taco John himself. And he would come bursting through the cliffside like the Kool-Aid man. He'd be like, oh yeah. I guess he'd be like, OC. And then he'd toss me some potato olays, and I'd be like, Taco John, this is amazing, but how did you get here so quickly? He'd say, I rode here with my brother, Jimmy. Jimmy John's. He's freaky fast. I don't know why in my head Taco John sounds like Antonio Banderas, but... oh, gosh. Somewhat related, I don't really have... anybody to sext with right now. And sexting is great because it's like sex without all the work. But I do have the Pizza Hut app. And the Pizza Hut app is great because they will send you updates where I will, put in my order. A couple seconds later, whoop, Carlos is putting your order in the oven. Whoop, Carlos is putting on that extra cheese you asked for. Whoop, Carlos is on his way. Me too, Carlos. Me too. Oh gosh. I don't want to leave, but I think that I want to tell one more story before I get out of here. You guys good with one more story? Because I want to tell you guys about the first time that I ever fell in love. But first I want to talk about mac and cheese. Because a few weeks ago, I made mac and cheese for myself, which was a big deal because mac and cheese is awesome, but I didn't always have the ability to make it because when I was in college, I couldn't make it because it required ingredients. And when I was in college, if I was to try to make mac and cheese, it'd look like one of those Food Network, challenges on Chopped where they'd be like, you have to make mac and cheese using the contents of this fridge, which is a case of Busch Light and whatever this used to be. But the first time that I fell in love had something to do with mac and cheese because I used to go to Hawkeye College and I lived in Cedar Falls and I didn't have a car because I was broke. And so I used to ride the bus. And the bus is nobody's first choice. It's like it's like a Long John Silver's on wheels. Nobody else is happy to be there. But you know what's even worse than riding the bus? Missing the bus. So I had missed the bus in Waterloo because I was trying to just get a little bit of extra help from a teacher after a class, trying to be a good student, trying to succeed. And I missed the bus, and the way that the transit works is that there is a large gap between when the buses will go back and forth, sometimes up to 4 hours. So I was dejected. I was very, very upset. And then I hear just the smallest voice out of my peripheral say, you can come back to my place if you'd like and wait, or maybe I can take you home. And it was this girl in my class, so I went to her place, was just not even thinking two thoughts about it, just pretty much moving myself forward, just angry at myself until I set my bag down in her kitchen and she said, are you hungry? I could make mac and cheese. And that's when I realized for the first 21 years on this life, no woman outside my family had ever offered to make me food before. So imagine how I felt when she let me have sex with her. Oh my God. Because for the first 21 years of my life, I thought that sex was like Santa. I can explain. Isn't it obvious? No, because for the first 21 years of my life, I had never seen sex in person. But adults were like, if you're good, it'll happen. So I remember there was a time where, we were kind of going steady, and we went to a Village Inn. Not trying to brag. But we went to a Village Inn, and because I was feeling a little bit bougie, I ordered milk with my meal. I wanted to try to look rich in front of her. Like, look, I have milk money. But that is when the waitress said, I'm sorry, our milk machine's actually broken. Right now, we only have milk for food orders like pancakes and stuff. Can I get you something else? And at that location, they had these little cream pourers that were in the shape of a cow. So I picked it up, I pointed to the underside. I said, that's utterly disappointing. And that C+ of a joke made my date laugh so hard she farted. And that is when I had this vision of a far-off future where I would be telling people maybe someday at our wedding day that that's the exact second that I fell in love with her. For those of you paying attention, it didn't work out. Because when people grow older, they take on new interests and they kind of grow apart. You know, I wanted to hang out with my friends and have fun, and she kind of liked yelling at me and saying mean things. And after 2.5 years of that, I finally put my foot down and let her break up with me. And here's the thing, after somebody who is even a negative part of your life, but if they're a big part of your life for long enough, it hurts when they leave. Because after she was gone, I lost my ability to feel happiness. I lost my ability to pursue my interests. I lost my ability to hate country music. Because the lyrics just started to make sense. Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart. She hit me like a hurricane. Damn, I feel like a woman. That last one doesn't apply as much, but it's still just a banger. And I'm lucky because I had a lot of great friends around me to tell me that I needed to continue working to be a whole person. I needed to continue working to be happy on my own. And, I needed to pursue my interests and, find out who I really am. So 6 years ago, I started doing stand-up comedy. And 5 years ago, I started taking dance lessons. And a few weeks ago, I made mac and cheese for myself. You have no idea how mad it makes other comics. That I get an applause break for just making my own food. And I still make 2 boxes, because I'm a strong, independent man who don't need a woman for that. And I think that with enough time and love and support, there will once a day come a time where I can hate country music. Thank you.